So today's video is going to be on Cipher. So if you have played Valorant, you probably have played against a Cipher, you probably stepped on his tripwires, and you probably got shot by his freaking cameras. So in order to understand why would anyone play this dirty class, we're going to break down his skills, and then we're going to break down tips and tricks on what you could do with his skills, and lastly we're going to go through his gameplay and how you should play Cipher. So Cipher is a sentinel. Sentinels, based off the game, is supposed to lock down the maps, and lock down areas of the map, and just watch everyone's back. So like every champion, he has 4 skills. His first skill is tripwire. You throw down a tripwire. If enemies walk through it, they get stunned. They get slowed first, and then after a brief second, they get stunned from their location, but they can still shoot in that period of time. Tripwires are redeployable. As you can see, once you hover your mouse on it, you can click F to pick up your tripwires. Also, tripwires could also get destroyed because enemies could walk up to tripwires, see the tripwire line, and then shoot at your tripwire to destroy it. Next up, we have the Q. So Q, you pretty much just throw onto the ground. You can't pick them back up, but you could reactivate them. You could be pretty much anywhere on the map to reactivate them. You could just look at just the thing and just click off, and then it triggers. So it triggers by the first one first, the first one that you threw out first, and then you can trigger your second one. So yeah, that's good to keep in mind. Also, going through the smokes also slow you down on contact. Next up, we got your spy cam. Spy cam is pretty much your signature move. It has a cooldown, and when you don't spy in it, your opponents can't see your spy cam. So that's pretty good. They kind of changed that in this patch, I think. And you can shoot a dart in your spy cam. So this dart is pretty darn good. That's if you land it. The dart reveals the location of an enemy until they remove the dart from their body. So that's pretty nice. Your camera is also redeployable, so you can pick it up. The cooldown gets reduced. It usually is like 30 seconds, but here the cooldown is reduced, so that's pretty nice once you pick it back up. When it's destroyed, it will be on full cooldown. Next up, we have his R. His R, you can only use it on enemies that recently died. I think the time gap is like 15 seconds or 30 seconds. It reveals all the enemies on your map, so you can see your enemies on the minimap, and you can also see the enemies through the walls. It's like a little white outline, which is pretty good. This is also why he's really good for vision, because if you need vision, you can click R, and you also have your spy cams. So before this video goes any further, I'd like to remind you guys to like and subscribe for more content. So let me down in the comments below if you guys want me to try out another agent and make another video on it. So now back to the video. Okay, so now we're going to talk about tips and tricks on Cipher. So Cipher, generally, you don't want to throw your tripwire too high nor too low. If your tripwire is a little bit too high, you know, people could just, crouch under it, and it won't trigger your tripwire. You're not gonna know that they're gonna be on site, but and if you throw a tripwire too low, they could jump over your tripwire. It is gonna make a sound. This is gonna kind of catch you off guard, and you're probably gonna die for putting a tripwire too low. Another good information to keep in mind is that when people step on your tripwire, it does show a red marker, and you could see them across walls, across anything, across the entire map. This is one of the major reasons why Cipher is really good at map control, because he could be on the other side and he still knows where you are because you stepped on his tripwire. Also, if they destroy your tripwire, the character will tell you that your tripwire has been destroyed, so it's also good to keep an eye on your map. Watch where your tripwires get destroyed, so where more information about where the other enemy teams are and where they're probably gonna push. Next up is your Q. Your Q is your smoke screen. Pretty much what you want to do with your smoke screen is you want to look up when you throw it. Looking down is for throwing it short, so like right there. Looking further up throws a lot higher. So pushing onto sight, you should probably look at like a 45-degree angle and just Kobe it, so that's that. Also, when your enemies walk into the smoke screen, it would trigger a little sound, like a static sound, so that's when you know they actually pass through the smoke. And also gonna slow them, so once they jump out, is probably your best chance to shoot at them and get a kill. Spy cam is probably your most strongest move. Tips on it, yeah, throw it deeper into the site. You kind of also want to throw it into positions where your enemies don't expect it. So one good position in this map Haven is right here. This is my most favorite spot. they would never check that spot, and it's also like kind of cover underneath the wood. There's some really good nasty, you know, positions where you could hide your cameras. This is a pretty good one. It's near the leaves, underneath the board. It's kind of hard to spot it, and you get very good vision. You can see them from mid, you can see them from coming from A. It's really nice. So these positions you're eventually gonna need to find out yourself. Some things about your camera is that when you activate your camera, the last position that you kept your camera in is the position you're gonna see once you know, resume your camera. For example, if I'm looking at C and I exit my camera, when you activate your camera again, you'll be watching C. So that's a really good information to keep in mind, because when you try and get a peeking advantage, this is going to really help, because your camera is always going to be in this position, and you're going to always probably out peek them because you do have your camera, and you can always shoot your darts at them. These darts are pretty OP. Darts could show enemies behind walls, so there's really no way they can hide unless they take the dart out themselves. And when you get injected by the dart, on the bottom of your screen it should say hold to remove dart. You should try to hide behind something and then remove the dart, because you don't want to be standing out there removing the dart, because you're probably going to get killed. So last thing we have is the R. The R, you have to first store your hat in order to cast it. That's your cast time. And then after that, a few seconds later, Cypher would download data from people's dead bodies to, you know, find the location of where everyone is. There's also a downtime in that as well, so you won't instantly get the location of the enemy. So when you are, you still have to be patient and probably hide behind a wall before you peek. So why would you play Cypher? So Cypher is, on defender side, he's pretty darn OP. Like, you pretty much can't do anything when he's on defender side. Cypher could hold down a site really well by himself because of his tripwires and his spike cam. You could literally hold down a site all by yourself. A quick example is right here. Let's say you're watching C. You can just tripwire here, so when they push up, you would know. And then you could tripwire here. So people don't even. You should generally watch mid doors, but if no one's watching mid doors, you can tripwire those, so you don't have to worry about the flank. You have this under control, and if you want to play safe, you throw your camera here, and you can peek along pretty well, so you can see where, you know, people are pushing or rushing. So it's also really good intel because you have ridiculous amount of vision control, and pretty much they would never expect you. Most of the time, I sit mid doors and camp for shotgun, the shorty. Pretty much that's kind of my play style. I like playing like that. It pays me off really well because I get a full econ and just pick up their guns. It's pretty nice. The vision control of this class is insane. Like, literally insane. Like, you control the map so easily on defense side. Offense side is a little bit trickier. You need to get more used to playing offense, but that's that. So, Cypher on attacker side is a lot different. His gameplay is a lot more different because Cypher himself can't really push onto the site, but he could help his teammate push onto the site with his spike cam. But most of the time when I play Cypher, I just watch flank. That is, wherever my teammates is pushing, the Cypher should be on the other side. So he tripwires the other side, protecting the team from getting flanked, you know, from the back. And he just gets great picks off. For me, it's very easy picks. And depending on their team, let's say they play a very aggressive playstyle, like they like rotating and like, you know, like pushing up into your team while you're attacking. Cypher would be really strong because all he does is just sit at flank. Like, you just sit at flank, put tripwires everywhere. They're gonna run into it. They're gonna die, and you're gonna get free kills, like literally for free. Sit there behind a wall with a shotgun, and like they can't do anything because they step on a tripwire. They probably have to shoot your tripwire, and then you shoot at them with your shotgun, which is pretty much a one shot. And yeah, that's how you pretty much play Cypher on attacker side. Pushing is a little bit hard. If you want to push with Cypher, you generally want to throw your spy cam as far as possible down to the site so you can get vision of who's in the site, and then probably throw smokes to, you know, get your team in here. So why would you play Cypher? If you like playing a very slow, you know, play style, Cypher is probably the class for you. The agent for you. Cypher's gameplay is it's pretty slow. You don't really push into them. You want them to push into you, and you set traps. Setting traps means that you also have to play pretty slow because you want them to step on your traps. You want them to trigger your traps, and we like being a dirty peeker in general and just spy on other people. You know, Cypher is the class for you. That's that about Cypher, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Peace.